Hey everybody, we have another little project going on, not 4Runner, but a little SUV that's pretty fun. This is a 2019 Ford Police Interceptor Utility. We bought this, it had front seats and a storage box in the back. There was no back seats, so I've gone ahead. I bought a wreck, so I bought that as a donor for the entire interior. So I've got the sport interior swapped in, the second row seats, those are pretty straightforward, and now the third row folding seats my wife prefers to have working. So I couldn't find anything on YouTube on how to make these work like factory, so that's what we're doing today. It's pretty basic. I'll show you a couple wires you need to make it all work, and you can get your third row power seats working as well. Alright, so wiring wise, when you go to get your donor seats, you're going to want this module, all these wires that are attached to the bottom of the seats. This here, wire here, goes to the motor under here that powers the right side seat. So that you'll have as well, it's just behind the panel. So this plug goes into the seat to power the rotating motor that causes the seat to flip back. The module, this is powering the left side to stow. This is the power plug that goes and powers the module. So this is all kind of one piece. It should stay with the seat. This plug here has to be taken from the donor truck. So if I recall right, this was laying about like that, and we do have to cut it loose. This was loomed up with the rear HVAC, and this is the interior light plug. The Police Interceptor only has the interior light plug. I don't have a 12-volt connection, so I'm adding that as well. That way this whole assembly works. So you want the module, the wires coming off of this, just cut them loose from the harness, delume it carefully, and then you need the switch. It's just two wires. This runs the seat switches, and this is just a 12-volt outlet. So I kind of have these tied together. This plug here is the power for right here. It goes to this motor, so it makes it all rotate. So I've gone ahead and I've taped these back together. I cut them out of the main lube, put them back together how they belong, where they belong. So just like that. And then where the wires are cut, I'll show you on the donor truck. But essentially, we have this green, and it's kind of like red or pink maybe. And then this black and white stripe. This is my 12-volt outlet feed. So this, if you're not doing the 12-volt outlet, don't worry about this. From this switch right here, this wire connector, we're looking for yellow with a green tracer right there, and the black with white. So this here will go into that connector, and then going into the main harness is going to be this purple with brown trace. This powers the module. This lightish blue wire here, I believe this comes from the body control module to keep this from working under certain conditions, but we're just going to put power to this wire as well. That way it'll work. And then this ground, black with a white trace, this is the ground for the power to the seats and everything. So all we end up doing is tying this ground and this ground together, just ground them, no big deal. And we're going to supply power to this yellow wire, this purple, and this blue. When we power all those, the seats will function like they should using the switch. I'll go now, I'll show you where in the donor vehicle I cut it loose from. Okay, so the harness that powers all of this is right here on the on the driver's side rear door, right by the seat belt here. All the grounds were cut from this ground strap. So those 3 grounds I showed you were all connected to here. There's the 3 cut wires. I believe I have enough room to just put a new terminal on, and I'll ground them right back to here where they belong. So coming from the front towards the rear, this here is the 3rd row module power plug. So when you're cutting your harness loose, you can do it. You can really do it wherever you want. We did it here. So I'm not going to try to jump into the Interceptor harness. Instead of trying to find these in the harness, I'm just going to run power from the additional 12-volt outlet that the Interceptors have. It's either right over here where that amplifier is. On like the earlier models, it's right there. On the later models, I've seen it's down here in the floor. So I'm going to run power from there over here and up to my wires, my 3 wires, and that will power the seat. This is where you will find the wires you need to cut to run everything. Alright, so on the Interceptor, this is for 2019 at least, there's the additional power wires that are factory wired in. So this is the factory harness. These 2 big red wires. I have them ran under the carpet to this little center box. There's a cover goes on here. So I'm just going to have it right under here, just like that. And I've cut the carpet to let the wire go a little farther in, just to keep it from working back against this bracket. That would be a bad day. So this is where we're going to jump power. We're going to run power from this port, which is just 12-volt constant, back under the carpet, up here to our factory wiring, and that'll go back to the switch, make the seats work. So I'll do that now. Okay, so we've got this wire ran along the HVAC. So these are different gauges. The small gauge, black with white stripe, this is coming from the switch. And this is my 12-volt outlet. I'm just going to put these 2 together in one terminal for the ground wire, just to make it easy. So I'll just strip these back, run these 2 together. Again, if you're not doing your 12-volt outlet, you'll just need the one from the switch. Put them in there. And we will use the non-insulated crimp. Okay, so there's ground to our 12-volt outlet and to our switch. And then this other big ground is for the motors. This is the ground for the motors, so I'm going to put this on its own terminal. So I'll just crimp this one on. Okay, so that's crimped. Yeah, that'll be all right. So we're going to connect these to this ground point right here. And when I come back, we'll hook up the power wire to these, and then everything should be functional. Okay, so we have our grounds, terminals on our grounds. So because these are smaller gauge wires, I'm just going to take the yellow from the switch, the purple and the blue color that's going to the module. I'm going to pair them all together because they all need power. And since I'm doing my 12 volt power, I'm going to just put them all together into one. They should fit a 10 gauge terminal pretty easy. So let's get these all lined up. Put them in a 10 gauge. Make sure that they're all in. Looks like they're all in. Give them a crimp. Like that. And then down here I ran the power from the junction, from the bus bar that is factory on the Interceptor. I ran it under the carpet. I'm just going to run it up this harness and plug it into the other side of this connector. So I'm going to say about right here. Should be fine. And this is, I want to say this is an 8 gauge wire. It's a little big, but it should be better. I also did put a fuse off the bus bar for all of this wiring, just in case. Okay, so that's going to power our module and our switches, and then these are going to be put into here, into the factory ground point. I'll just tighten them up here, and that'll be our grounds. So I'll get that done off camera, and then I'll come back when we test the seat out. Alright, so just a quick little overview. I'm running power off the factory police power connection. I'm running a fuse to everything, just in case. So I got a fuse in there. That runs under the carpet over to here, this red wire, zip tied to the factory loom. Our power connection point there, our ground connection points here. And now I'll flip this back. Put that there, and we'll give it a test. So here's our switch. We have it on both right now. So go to normal. And we'll go fold. Stow. And we can divorce them so they run independently. Alright, I'm not going to film putting the interior back in. There's a few good videos on the install of the third row as far as what you need. The channels are called Depolicify. with a dash between the D and the Policify. And the other one is read the manual, and it's REID, like the name read, not reading a book. So give them a look, and you can use this video if you want to run the factory wiring. So thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate it. Have a good one.